Hey, how's it going? Working on a video. I got 2 more pieces to shoot. I just noticed they're missing from here. It's so chopped up. Oh my goodness, it's really chopped up. So when you're watching it, just know it's really edited. It's so chopped up, it's not even funny. I apologize for all the chopping up parts of the video. It's just so much stuff that was in there that I had to take out because some of it wasn't relevant anymore. So I'm working on it. Now, when you watch it, you're gonna see it's gonna be just chopped up all over the place. All right, let me get. I'm gonna I'm gonna do the last 2 pieces, and then when you see it, you're gonna see the whole thing. So, all right, thanks for being patient. Here comes the video. Okay. All right, so what's going on here is that I had to add 2 more. 2? Is it 2? Yeah, I think I made 2 more changes. Give me a second. Let me try to remember. Yeah, I did make 2 changes. That's not on the video that you didn't see, and I'm still using the printer, but I want to give you the information anyways, because it's really not anything I have to take the printer apart to show you. And the truth is, I'd rather build one from scratch and then show you the built from scratch version than take this one apart and then try to show you it already completed, because it's kind of pointless to do it that way. I know some people won't agree with me, but I know it's pointless. For those who not that savvy, they would rather see me do it from scratch because they're probably doing it from scratch, so it would be help them a lot better versus, if you're savvy, then you can figure it out. Oh, well, that's what he did. But the ones who are not savvy, well, they need to see you do it from scratch. So I'm just going to, so the savvy ones will see and they can pick it up. Well, the savvy ones, not so much. I know I'm going to have a lot of questions to answer. I guess it's just the aim of the game, I guess. But I'm going to show you the things that I added, and then go from there. All right. And then you'll see in the video, I'll show you. You're going to see some parts. So let me go through what I added, and then you can figure out from there. All right, here we go. So you're going to see me install this fan. The whole process of this whole process is actually in there to install this fan. But what you're not going to see me install is this fan. There's not enough light in this room, but there's a fan here. Let me get some light. There it is. Ouch, man, this flashlight's so strong. But you will not see me install this fan. All right, that fan right there, you won't see me install it. All right. But it's roughly the same exact process. It's literally the same process. Installing this fan is the same process as installing that fan over there. All right, it's the same process. You just find your spot and you just put the hole. You have to line it up, of course. You do the lining process like you do over there, and then you just kind of cut your hole, and then you put it in place. If you're savvy, you'll figure it out. If not, this is where that's what I'm talking about. If you're not savvy, you'll kind of get stuck here. But you just have to remember, you just have to line this up inside the printer. You're lining it up, and it's not, you can't see it, but you're lining it up with this motor here. Don't forget, there's a wall right here, and you'll see it when I have the printer. There's a wall literally right here, and you want to put this motor on the back end of that motor, not on the front end, but on the back end of this motor. Right? This is a little too far forward for me. I need it to be back a little bit further. So just know when you're installing it, you want to bring it more to the back of the motor, not on the side, but more to the back of the motor. And a bigger fan would be nicer, but for me, this is fine. For my personal uses, this is fine. Like I was saying in the videos, I don't know if I think I cut it out, but in the videos, I don't need anything bigger than this. if you run with your top open, you're gonna need a bigger fan than this. If you're running your top closed like mine, like this, you're gonna need a bigger fan. All right, this fan is perfectly fine for me. This is a tiny fan. It doesn't blow a lot of heat, a lot of air. So, but this is fine for me. And with those heat sinks, I did use wire and wrap my heatsink around the motor. And the reason why I'm not taking this off, the reason why I'm not pulling this printer apart, because I'm actually still using it. And I don't have a brand new printer sitting somewhere to pull it up, to rebuild one. Plus, I'm also testing my vacation mode. I haven't printed on this thing in almost, actually it's going on almost 4 days now. I haven't printed on it. It's been sitting here for almost 4 days. And I want to make sure, and I'm testing my vacation mode. This is why I don't want to take it apart, because then I have to start all over again. And I'm making modifications to this. I'm testing something, and I have to replace this, and I'm testing something. I'm literally in the middle of a test, and I don't want to stop. That's why I don't want to take it apart. And if I take it apart, I have to start all over again, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to walk you through the steps. And I know I don't want to take any longer waiting for you. I don't want you to wait any longer for the video if I don't have to. So, and then the second thing I did was I actually used the same power supply. The same power supply for this motor is also powering this, sorry, not motor, but fan. The same power supply is powering that fan is also powering this fan. I just spliced into it. I spliced into the wire and I added the fan to it. I really was going to walk through this entire step with a whole new setup and just do it all over from scratch, but I didn't get enough money to buy a new printer to do it from scratch. I didn't get enough money to do it, so I just didn't. I can't afford to do it. Sorry, I just can't afford to do it. So I'm just gonna talk you through the steps. When I have enough cash, then I'll probably buy a printer and redo it, because I need to redo it anyways at some point. I know I need to. And then I'll make a nice full long from scratch video all the way up and remodify this, and I'm probably going to remodify it even totally different from this, a whole better setup than this whole thing, because this is just the test process. I want to run my lines differently. I want to do my ink tanks differently. I want to do everything different. So this is a Franken printer. All right, this is my Franken printer. And my Franken printer is a test bed for all this new modifications and testing that I'm doing. And right now it's working perfectly. So I'm not going to change. I don't want to take it apart if I don't have to. Like I say, I'm testing the vacation mode. I'm doing a new vacation mode. And that whole process is, oh my goodness, so far it's been working out perfect. So, and then the heatsink thing, like I told you, when you watch the end of the video, because that's the last thing I did was put the heatsink in. When you place the heatsinks on the motor, right? When you place the heatsinks on the motor, you want to I placed like 2 or 3 on there. You want to put heatsinks, as much heatsinks as you can get on that motor, pop them on there. The more heatsinks you put on that motor, especially right around it, not just 1 or 2 on the side, but put as much heat sinks as you can get around that motor, all the way around. All right, that'd be better than just put the 1 or the 2 on it. Even with the fan, the heat sinks will help keep it cooler, and that's what you really want. You want that motor to stay nice and cool, because that's the drive motor, and that motor actually does a lot of work, more work than I thought it did, and just keep that motor cool. All right, and that's pretty much it. And like I told you, I'm testing vacation mode right now. And my vacation mode, I'm on day 3. Day 3? I don't remember. I'm on one of them days. I think it's like day 4. Day 3 or 4. Because I have to double check. I didn't write it. I keep forgetting to write these damn things down. That's my problem. That's my damn problem. Keep forgetting to write the days down. But I know the last day I print, all I have to do is look on my my computer, and it will tell me exactly the last day I printed, and I know exactly which day it was, and I know exactly what it was. But I'm pretty sure it's like day 3 or 4. It's one of them 2 days I haven't printed, and this thing still has everything in there. I checked the last time I checked, the thing was still loaded with liquid stuff in it, and I didn't do anything. Didn't have to change nothing, didn't have to mess with nothing. So my vacation mode is actually working the way that I want it to. And I'm doing some more changes, so keep tuned for that. All right. So here's the rest of the video. With the Epson 8550 is that, as we all know, it overheats and then it slows down printing. And all I did was attach it to a 5 volt USB adapter. I cut the end off and just attach it to a 5 volt adapter. And this little bad boy, I'm gonna attach it to the side of my printer case. Think about a fan this small. I was thinking about a bigger fan and a heat sink and all this other stuff, but now that I've seen this, now I remember to make fans this small, because sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees. You tend to forget that they make things small like this. Just, your brain farts. And I forget to make fans this small and this powerful, small. So here we are, fan this small, but yet powerful, because this thing moves some air. So I'm gonna pop this bad boy right in here, and it goes right on the out. And the thing is, I'm putting it on the outside, so it's gonna suck the air from inside the printer out, and then suck the heat out. All the printing happens in the front, so you don't want the stuff, all your paper and all your other stuff. I want the air pulling from the front, so hopefully, in theory, no big deal. If anything, I just tape this up and move the fan to the back. It's no big deal. Either way, it's a win. I just move the fan to the next spot. It's not going to make no big difference. With our 8550, we will literally solve our heating issue with the 8550 with just a simple little fan, which should have been, let me say this should have been in the 8550 from Jump Street. This little tiny, because it's in the P900. So why isn't this little tiny fan in the 8550? I'm guessing they don't think people are gonna print that much with them, so they didn't see the need to put it in there. But people like us, we print a lot, so we need a fan to cool that motherboard. So we're gonna put our own fan in it. All right. Oh, if you haven't subscribed, you can do that if you want to. Let me show you how I'm gonna put this on here. As you can see, I use a Dremel. I use a Dremel, and I just cut this hole out with a Dremel. You can use anything to cut this hole out with a Dremel. And then I found these screws sitting around my house, and then I just use 2 little screws. Put one there. Well, technically I want it like this, so I'm gonna put one down here, and one up here. Screws are gonna go in here, one up there. Then I'm gonna screw it on to the side, because I already put screw holes in there. See, my 2 little screw holes, and put them in. One there, one there. And then when I'm done, I'm gonna tape this across the back of it. Put some tape right across the back here, just to make sure it doesn't come loose. So if I ever yank the wire or something, I don't have to worry about it ripping off my fan or nothing. I don't have to worry about it, so I'm gonna tape the wire in place. Just for, safety reasons. You don't want to damage a new fan that you put on here, you know what I'm saying? So just tape the wire. All right, so let me go install this, or let me get where the printer is and install it, I guess. If you, I think I just record myself putting it in, I guess, just so y'all can see what I'm doing. All right, so give me a minute. All right, so just wanted to show you. See, I just put it in. This fan actually works. The air comes out to the back. So it sucks air from the front to the back. That's how this fan works. And just like I said, I just taped it. See, I just taped it right down the side. So if I do yank it, I'm yanking the wire and not the actual fan. So you just tape it in place. And see, just 2 little screws. You don't need a lot. It's not gonna move that much air. You don't need all 4 screws tied down. That's about that. And let me show you how much air this actual thing moves. Let me plug it in. So yeah, just plug it in. Yeah, that's a see that's a fan blowing. Powerful little fan, isn't it? Yep. Hold on. Yeah, so I didn't buy anything. This is like, I had this adapter sitting around my house. And this is, I got this from our Ring camera that I didn't use the adapter anymore. So I just took the place. This is from a Ring camera, a very old Ring camera I had sitting around the house. I don't use the camera anymore, so I just use the adapter. And I just cut the end off, and that's what it is. And 2 screws. This is from some mounting screw from something. I don't know. I save a lot of screws. You never know what you use them for, see? I use them for this now. I'm not sure if I have to grind these ends off. So I might not be able to put it in place until I grind these edge of these screws off. I'm not sure yet. I want to see. When I get in there, I'll find out. So let's get in there. Hold on. All right, so here I am by the printer now, right? So this bad boy goes right here. Now I gotta make sure these little screws don't touch this motherboard here. All right, and I think they should be cleared. They don't look like they're going to touch anything, so I should be all right with these little screws. Because there's nothing here on the motherboard, and these are far back enough. So I think I'll be fine. Let me line it up. So when it goes on, it'll be like that. Give me a second. Let me get some light. Oh, I'll be plenty far away. Plenty far away. My screws are not long, so I'll be fine. So I'm going to put it on. Let me snap this in place. Yep, now let me double check. And it's so hard to look down in here. Top one, the bottom one is fine. The top one, I'm not so sure about. The top one is actually not bad either. I think the top one's fine too. It's not on nothing. It's actually, I can't see it, but I'm going to actually move it. I'm going to switch these 2 screws around because where this screw is right here, there's a gear right behind it, and I don't want the gear keep spinning and rubbing against the screw. Just in case there's a gear right, literally right there's a gear, and I'd rather not have that gear rubbing against the screw. So I'm going to take it out. I'm going to put the screw here and then move this one over here. But let me screw this in place first. I mean, actually lock this front one in at least. I put my front screw in place. That way this won't move when I put the screw in, and then, yep. Oh yeah, that bottom screw will not even touch anything. Won't touch the motherboard, won't touch anything. But I'm gonna double check them anyways. Because when I do this too, here's another way I can look. I can take the fan off, screw this bad boy in here. I mean, I could solve all this problem by just... See, now I can actually see inside. And yes, just like I said, it's actually rubbing against, there's a gear. See the gear right there? See, there's a gear right there. See the gear? Let me move the fan out of the way. See the gear is right. Oh my goodness. Stupid thing don't want to move. Ah, there we go. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it to focus. Ah, there it is. That gear right there, see it? And the screw is actually rubbing against it. There we go. Much better light. There it is, right there. So this screw is actually rubbing against that. So I'm gonna take this and put it over here. And then my motherboard, the screw is so high up it won't even touch anything. And then let me bring this back down because this stupid thing likes to move around. And then down in here, there's a gear. There's nothing down here for the screws to hit on. And I'll be all right. I know also I could solve my problem by just why didn't you just grind these screws down? Well, I don't want to deal with that. I could just do that, be honest with you. I could just get a file grinder or something that's grinding the screws out, but I don't want to deal with that. Didn't have to deal with metal shavings and everything else in between. No thanks. I'll just pass. So let me put this screw back in place so it holds it in place where I kind of want it. Then I can put that back in place. So now that can go back over there, and this can go right here, and then I can just screw this back into place. There we go. I can take my time and screw it in. That one's in place. Take this one out and hold that in there. Screw this one in place. There we go. Now we're going to take it off again. Well, I am. You don't have to. And I'm going to check my screw placements. that out of the way. Screw this in. About to where it's going to be. Get my light again. And perfect. Yep, that's perfect. Didn't even do no damage at all. That's awesome. That is perfect in the spot where it needs to be. And then this one, and there's absolutely nothing behind it. Nothing at all. See, my finger just fits perfectly behind it. So that's perfect. So now I can actually put my fan back in place. And oh, my back is killing me. That's that. That's in place. Everybody's good. Yep, that's good. That's good. Everybody's all good. Plug my little fan in. Oh, hear that thing purr. Yep. And yes, it's sucking air from inside my printer. Beautiful thing. Thing of beauty. Thing of beautiness. It's sucking air clean out the printer. So now we're going to see, when we start printing, if this is going to keep my printer. I'll close this down. That is me installing a new fan inside, on, not inside, but on, and there's a lot of air blowing through here, on my Epson 8550, but I've been printing, okay? I've been printing. And that little fan has been keeping this motherboard cool. This thing hasn't even got warm yet. Not even lukewarm. Not even lukewarm, I'm telling you. It still feels like the side of the machine cool. The thing didn't even get warm yet. This thing is actually, that little thing is actually keeping the main board cool, just by sucking out all the hot air out of this thing. It's actually working. So the goal was, so what I had was, first was saying blow air under here, so to try to blow the heat off. Well, that wasn't efficient enough because, you know, it's clouded up and stuff. I'm guessing you can maybe put holes in here, but don't forget you're printing here. So if you blow air in this side of this thing, you may end up blowing your sheet around, and that could cause a problem. So if you can get something to suck the air out versus blowing air in, like what this is doing, I think you'd be better off. All right, so this works. This little thing actually works. So I want to recommend this. Put a little tiny fan on the side of your printer, and you can print for hours without your printer slowing down. And let me show you. See? It's not even slowing. Not even slowing down. That printer is printing just like it was when I just turned it on. See that? Just run that little tiny fan right there. So, what can I say? The idea worked. Was an idea. I blew it off. Subscriber, homeboy, came up, say, hey, look, put it in. It's all him because I blew it off, so it's all him. It was in the back of my head, so I found a fan. I'm like, you know what? Let me try it. Let me actually put it in. It's in my machine, and as you can see, it actually works. All right, so again, broken up videos. Sorry about that, but sorry, my hands are all dirty. I know I'm supposed to be wearing gloves, but I'm not really doing anything crazy. I'm actually pulling apart my printer. When I keep telling y'all, this is not some little rinky-dink process to get this thing to do what I want it, what we want it to do. Okay. And in the midst of me doing whatever, I found another hiccup. And this printer is going to go in my Built to Fail series, because it is built to fail. And I'm going to show you you know what? Let me make this video a part of the Built to Fail series too, while I'm at it. All right, so let me show you why this thing is actually built to fail. And look at this. Let me get something. Let me get a flashlight, because you need to see this. Right on the back of the motor. Hope the light's not too bright for you. But if I can get the right angle, just the right light angle. Oh my goodness, I don't want this to be too bright so you can't see it. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so if you're on the back of the motor, about right there. You see that black dark spot on the back of the motor? Yeah, that dark spot is actually the motor itself burning up. This motor is actually burning up. Alright? Yeah, the motor is actually burning up. And it's pumping out black smoke, black soot right out the back of the motor, right there. Right in that little spot. Right there. That little black spot on the back of the motor. I really hope... I can't see because my screen is so tiny. But if you can see it, I hope this camera really picks it up. Let's see if I can... Oh, good, it disconnects. It drops. Oh, good, it drops. Yeah, I didn't break something. See if I can zoom in on it for you. Yeah, see that little black soot? Black soot right there. Yeah, that little black soot. Right on the back of the motor right there. Whoops. That black soot, yeah, that's actual soot coming out of the back of the motor. There's a hole right there. And that motor, this motor right here is actually burning up. And that's also one of the reasons why this printer is built to fail. So let me back up. So yeah, this printer is also built to fail. That motor is built to fail. So part of the reasons why it's doing that, also that slow down, the issue we're having, is because of this motor right here. So I'm gonna have to find a way to cool this motor. Ain't that something, right? Yeah, we have to cool that motor, and that's what I'm gonna implement on this one. The step that I'm doing, I'm gonna cool this motor off, because that's my problem I'm having now. I need to cool this motor. Everything else is running cool in my machine, but that motor. So now this is why I ordered another fan. I have to put. I need to cut a hole right here. But the problem is going on is because this motor gets so hot, and there's really not much air coming down through here, and it's not a fan. There's no fan on the back of this motor, so it will never cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some heat sink on this motor. If you run with your top up, which most of you have to run with your top up, you're gonna have to physically put a fan here in the side panel of this printer, or you're gonna have to leave the side of your printer off and put a fan directly on this motor to keep it cool, right? So this motor stays cool, and then you shouldn't have that issue, along with keeping the motherboard on that side of the piece on the printer cool, so you don't have that problem. All right. So you're gonna have to keep but not only. So let me say this again. Not only do you have to keep this motor cool, you're gonna have to keep that motherboard cool. All right. But how my printer set up, I don't have to have my top up. I can actually keep my top closed. Put some heat sink all over this motor. I just find some little tiny heat sinks. I think I'm gonna get another one just for shits and giggles. I'm gonna put some little tiny heat sinks all over this motor, right? These little tiny heat sinks, see? I'm gonna slap them all over here. All over this motor. There, that's one. I just need to make sure that hole's not covered up. Good. Nope, that hole's not covered up. Perfect. See, I'm looking right there on the back of that motor to make sure that hole's not covered up. And that's what I'm looking for, just to make sure the hole's not covered up. I think I might have to move it just a tad bit though. Just a tad bit. And then I squeeze it on there just to pull the heat off. And it should pull the heat, excess heat off this motor. And then with the air blowing through my system, oh man, I ruined this one. I really should have bought some heat paste or thermal glue. I never thought it would be this crappy in back here. But the next time I'll buy thermal glue. This way I can just glue them on here. I'm gonna look into thermal glue. Thermal glue is probably the best thing to put on here. So if you want to do the heatsink way, or your printer is set up like mine, then you want to use thermal glue. Thermal glue would be like the best thing to put on here. So you can glue one of these on the back of your printer like that. On the back of this motor like that. But because I bought a whole bunch of these little tiny ones, and these are just I'm gonna try to show you what on the computer when I'm doing the computer section. I'll show you all these little pieces that I buy. They're all I got most of this stuff from Amazon. I got one of the fans. I got one of the fans out of the P900 that I pulled apart. But don't worry, I'll show you where you can get the fan and all these little tiny heat sinks. Because these are just tiny heat sinks that you put on, my goodness, Raspberry Pis. These are just Raspberry Pi heat sinks. And I'm just going to slap them on here. It's all over it. I'm probably just doing this as overkill. I really don't need this much of it because as I told you, my printer really don't run slow. I'm just doing this because I just want to. And I just really want to make sure I get rid of all the heat off of here. And once this thing gets hot, this glue is going to get soft. So I really should have bought thermal adhesive. If this don't work, like I said, I'm gonna get a when they fall off, I hear them and it'll go bling right on the bottom side. I'm gonna keep track of them. Come back in here eventually and make sure they're still on here. If they fall off, I just bought some fans. And I'm going to put a hole in here and I have to put a fan right here too, just like the one on the other side. And then this fan is going to blow inside on this motor to blow the heat off, and then that one's going to suck air. So it's going to go do a cross ventilation. It's going to blow in air across the machine over an exhale. So it's going to blow in and out on the one side. And like I said, my printer, I run it with the top closed, so it's just going to keep blowing air completely right across my entire system. So I don't have to worry too much about it. But for the rest of you, I don't know how it's going to work out. But we'll find out soon enough. But with these little heat sinks, I don't think they're gonna fall off, because again, if the heat keeps coming off, coupled with my fan sucking the heat out from the other side, I don't think they're gonna fall off, because it probably won't get hot enough. But you never know. Everything sounds good in theory until you put it in practice. All right. And points of failure, like I said, this is designed to fail. Points of failure right here. This is a point of failure. Your print head, if you crack it open, it's a point of failure. And the motherboard. The motherboard on this thing is the biggest point of failure in this printer, because there is no heatsink on it, and it's just designed to fail, because it overheats really quickly. And as you can see, and as you know, this printer is designed, it's designed where there's no ventilation. It runs closed, so there's no ventilation, so the motherboards get hot, and it doesn't have anywhere to cool itself, so it just overheats. And this thing technically designed to fail. But then again, if you think about how Epson build these things, they build them for people who maybe print 1 or 2 things a month. If they print that long, they're not built to print continuous prints continuously for hours on end. But even people who want to print multiple pictures, after a while the printer's going to stop printing because it overheats. So again, it was built to fail. It wasn't built to do this. It wasn't built to print more than maybe 4 pictures of it at a time, if it was built to do that much. So there's that. Alright, so that's what I'm doing in this here video. Told you, it's a process. I hope the heat sinks work in mine. I ordered a fan. The fan's coming soon. If the heatsink I put in here don't work, because I have a bunch of other stuff I have to print yet, so I will be able to test this soon if the heatsinks work. If the heatsinks don't work, not a big deal. I can actually use, I'm probably going to use some wire, get some wire, and I'm going to wrap it, and then tighten the wires. I'm probably going to put like one more heatsink on there somewhere, just for shits and giggles. And I'm going to tighten the wires so the heatsinks will always stay on there and they're not going to come off. So even if it gets hot, the heatsinks will always take the heat off. So like I said, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to find a way to make sure they never come off. And a way to never get them off is wire. Just get a piece of wire and just take the wire. You wrap it around the motor. Let me show you, because I have an extra motor right here. So there's a motor. I took this motor out of the P900. Yeah, it's the same motor. This motor's in the P900. That's where I got this motor from. The same exact motor. Weird, huh? So I'll take this. So I'll take the wire and I'll wrap the wire around it and then strap the thing around them. Kind of like how this wire is curled. See how this wire is curled? I just wrap the wire around it. Kind of like so. Yeah, I'm holding the thing with my other hand. So I wrap the wire like so around it. Like so. And then that will hold, yeah, kind of like that. That will hold the heat sinks in place. Even if they get hot, they won't fall off. So that's probably what I'm going to do to make sure they never come off. Now, if you have any questions, I know that video was rough as hell. And I told you it was rough. So, if you have questions, comments, Facebook group, I'm willing to answer, because that's rough. I told you I don't have it. Like I said, I don't have enough cash to build one from scratch right now. So it is what it is, and the printer is in test mode right now. So I don't want to touch it if I don't have to. Plus, I'm still using it. All right. So if you don't mind holding on a little bit, and as soon as I get as soon as I get a chance to, I will rebuild it, and I will go from scratch all the way up to the ground up. But I'll still answer questions, comments, Facebook group. Hit me up and I'll answer. All right. Till next time. Peace.